Hey. How's it going, folks? Carl Bryan coming at you with my boy Pat Bell. Patrick, my man, are you there?
I'm here. Hello, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well.
Hopefully we are. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we open a couple lines and say hello to a few folks? Let's open up Dan Cochran. Dan, we're coming for you. I went to school at Cochran High, and Dan's last name is Cochran without the E. There you go,
Named
Dan.
after him.
What's happening, man?
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're
Good.
doing fabulous. What's happening, Dan? The man with many incredibly good questions right here. Speaking of which, what's going on, Dan?
I'm going through the program, and I've been through this software quite a bit. I think the software is awesome.
Oh, that's what I want to hear. Tell me, when you say awesome, give me an example of something that impresses you.
Well, it's really simple. First off, what it does is it shows the potential prospect very easily through a process that they can clearly understand how they could achieve the results.
Yeah.
It has a very low resistance barrier.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, complex but not complicated. That's the goal, man. So yeah, there you go.
Well,
I
what's the
love
old
it.
saying? He who can take the complex and make it simple wins. Well, you guys,
Yeah.
I think you guys have taken a very difficult journey of marketing in general, and you guys have made it simple for prospects to understand, for sure.
You beauty, man. High five, buddy. We appreciate that, man. We appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Tell you what, we're going to put you back on mute here. But if you got a question, Dan, make sure you chuck it in there and we'll open you back up later. For now, I'm going to put you back on mute. And that goes for everybody, guys. Again, the plan of these calls is Q&A. So if you got a question, either raise your hand or chuck the question in the box so that we can have a little bit of a look. And we'll get you cranking. We do need some questions. It's very important
And
for Q&A
one
call.
more thing, Carl. We've got a pretty cool update on the software. I'll just show them it real fast.
Cool. That would be actually the perfect place to start, man. Why don't you do that?
Well, you can see my screen right now. It says coaching ROI. And Carl, you haven't even seen this. It's so new. So we just scroll down a little bit, and here's this nice blue box here that says ROI from coaching, 1,549%. And we get that from taking the current profit of 140, subtracting it out of the new 1 year profit potential there of 418, 250, and then dividing it by that coaching fee. So this is a responsive number. So you can see if I want to change, I'm like, man, I don't want to give them 1,500%. I'm not making enough money. So you change that to $24.97, you raise your fees by $1,000 a month, and you're still giving them a 929% return on investment from your coaching. So this is a way to raise your prices and get away with it. Raise your fees and get away with it. Down here as well, you'll see it on the lower one. Of course, a different percentage in here because some things like cut costs don't impact revenue, but impact profits. This is just your revenue screen. And then if you go to this chart, it shows it if you take a contingency fee. So there it's 364%. It's a little bit different, of course.
Very
a lot
cool.
lower, but you can mess around with those numbers and play around with them. And again, just when you're showing this to a client, we do not recommend that you show this screen to a client until you have inserted the number you want, and you don't have to show this contingency at all. I'd recommend against it because that's just for you. If you're, you might achieve these results here, but these are entirely hypothetical, and this is based on if the client actually implements to the level that you've agreed on. So I would not show this screen ever. This is for you. But definitely you could show this screen here, and this should go a long way in helping you close that client. What do you think, Carl? Do you like it?
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. And did we not get that idea? One of our legendary clients has come with up with that. Is that correct?
Michael, I'll have to go back and look. Michael, I
Kiter?
don't want to butcher
Michael
the last
Kiter,
name. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was Michael Kiter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's cool. But,
thank you, Michael.
But there you go for everybody listening. But that's it. You guys go play with this software, use it with some clients, give us some feedback, and some pretty cool results or pretty cool updates like that could be a result. So that would be very good. On that note, well done, Pat. I love it. And we need a question. So I'm going to open up a couple more lines. Actually, hang on. Here's Michael right here. Let's ask him. Michael Kiter, we're coming for you, man.
I'm here.
I opened him up yesterday morning. There he is. Was that your idea? Were we right there?
Yes, it was. I sent Patrick an email and said if we could just see that, then that way we could help out on knowing where our fees stand.
Well, there you go, man. High five. You saw it live and in the flesh, man. There you go. Hey, when did you recommend that?
It's a team effort. It's a team effort. Oh, it was like about 3 weeks ago. So they were quick on it. So Patrick's quick with that stuff.
He doesn't muck about, that boy. But Pat, I tell you, not only is he handsome, but he's a smart son of a gun that gets things done. Michael, hey, there we go. There we go. I love it. Humble too. Okay, cool. So Michael, I think we put you back there. He's back on mute.
Thanks, Michael. We really appreciate that. And just for everyone listening, like, we listen to your request for ideas and we talk about them, Carl and Adrian and I, and we bat them around, and something like this was like, oh my goodness, that's so important. It's such a great idea. And I can't believe we didn't think of it earlier, but thankfully we're tapping into this combined genius here of everyone. And it's like, hey, there it is. Let's get it going. And it came out actually last Thursday or Friday. And I think I showed it to Adrian, and he's like, let's redesign that a little bit. Let's put some color around it, put it in bold. And so we went to William, and I guess yesterday he updated it. So there it is. I like it.
I love it. High five. We got a question here from Christine. Christine, we're coming for you. You were self-muted. You'll need to unmute yourself. There you are. Christine, how's it going?
Really, really darn good. I just got access just 2 minutes ago to PAS from Patrick. So thank you, Patrick.
You're welcome.
And I'm new to the program altogether. So if it would work for you guys at all, and maybe the other people on the call, and I haven't gone through any of the training because I just got it, but if it would be helpful to others, it would be helpful to me if you just gave a quick rundown of where to start with a new client on this.
Yeah, I'll do that. And so also, I think you should have received in your email, there was a link to this webpage here, noresults-nofee.com/software. And down here, first time users training path. So this will show you everything from start to finish, but just very briefly, go to the home screen, or that might take you there. These are going to be blank. Company names, assessments, you won't have anything. So go in here, create a new company, and just put at least the places that are starred. You got to have those at least. And then once you're there, go in and create a new assessment. And you just got 4 forms to fill out there. So I'd go there, and then the next thing you need to know is once you've created that assessment, it comes out with an assessment name. Just click on this link. And so try and name your assessment something that's gives you like an indication of the company. So the ideal company name would be like XYZ Company Second Assessment or something. At some point, we're going to put these in folders like one of our coaches suggested, and that'll be really cool. We don't have that just yet. So just name it something like this, and then just go in and start with financials and do financials, and then. But yeah, I'd say go into the training. It'll walk it through really easily for you. And a lot of it's very intuitive. Like I mean, if you're used to any type of software, we've tried to lay this out so it's easy for people to do.
Oh
But
yeah, for sure. I'll go through the training, but I just thought a quick overview would be a place for me to start. Thank you very much. I'm
yeah,
looking
sure.
forward to it. I love software like this. I just
Oh,
love it.
good. Well, it keeps getting better, week by week. And the thing that William's working on now is under this training link here, there's actually what for first-time users are going to come in, they're going to have a walkthrough training. And so it's going to say, on this link, you can get this, and next, click this link. And it's going to lead you through an actual assessment to show you what to expect. So,
Perfect.
yep.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Good. Oh, you're welcome.
Awesome, Christine. Good stuff. And welcome to the family, of course. Our boy Dan has got a question. Dan, we are going to open. Where are you, Dan? There you are. Dan, you're back open, bud.
Well, I really wasn't more. It's really more of like a statement, and that. So one of the cool things about that ROI, I was talking to somebody the other day about the program, and that if you took the fees that you would pay us, let's just say if you took them and you put them in an index fund, index funds are averaging 10%, and at 10%, your money doubles every 7 years. Look at the value that we apply right within the business based on the ROI. And then if you add the fact that if you did nothing else but follow the program for 3 to 5 years, you'd get a 2x multiple if you sold your business. So if you added all of that into this ROI and the value, they're getting all of these services for really pennies.
Yeah.
And I think the dilemma is the Epiphany bridge.
Go, Dan.
Yep. So can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, you know how Russell Brunson does his Epiphany bridge?
Yes.
That's really the key here, right? Because I think that the value really, it's really, really genuinely so great that it is almost impossible for a small business owner to get that epiphany with the truth. So what you have to do is you really got to pull it back in order to be able to get them to have that epiphany based on what they can wrap their head around.
Yep. Dan, can you just give us a quick overview of the Epiphany Bridge for us so everybody knows what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, Russell Brunson does this thing where it's like, okay, so, you're here, right, at the Prospect, you're here, and here's where we're going to take you. And then here's the process that we're going to go through in order to get you to the other side of the bridge. And if we can't, as we explain the process to get you to the other side of the bridge, if we can't get you to have an epiphany, an aha moment, for you to recognize that, yes, you can see you accomplishing that, then we got to regroup.
No.
Because without the epiphany, it's not real.
Yep. Only difference there, I just call that a certainty bridge. It's same concept, right? But what I always say is that if you had a 5 and I had a 10 and I said, do you want to trade? First of all, you'd look, is he full of crap? Once you establish through social proof, most likely that I wasn't, you'd make the exchange immediately. You'd be very disappointed if you weren't able to make the exchange because you missed out. And if you did make it, you'd say, hey, do you want to do it a second time? Right? So just certainty is what we're looking to do when we sit with a coaching client. Just if I'm 24 grand, I got to make you 100% certain that I can make you 48 grand. If we mess everything up, we're still going to get the 48 grand. You can't sign the paperwork fast enough. So yeah, I like it.
And I agree. As a matter of fact, as I went through the training, interestingly enough, I was coming, I'm a numbers guy, so I'm a formula kind of guy. So anyway, so I came up with this really cool little formula that I think will always provide what you want, which is the certainty of results, which is what the prospect wants. And so what I did was I took, if you took expertise, authority, and trust, you added it to the show, don't tell methodology. You then added an alignment of interest, and then you removed risk and resistance. They're going to absolutely have a certainty of results in their head, which is the epiphany.
Yeah, there you go. High five, man. I like it. You've thought this thing through, Dan. I'm impressed, dude.
Yeah, part of that Epiphany bridge that Russell Brunson teaches is that it's like for any business person, you have to be able to if you're as a coach, let's say, and you have to be able to identify or empathize with the client. And so you tell a story and it talks about how, like, hey, I was going along in life and I was doing this, and then I ran into this brick wall and all these things happened. And then I realized, oh my gosh, this can happen if, XYZ happens. And how you come to this transformational idea. But if you start where they are and you say, hey, it's like I'm not some superstar. I was where you are too, and now you can do it too. It's the whole thing of like, oh, I reached this epiphany. And it's the whole power of storytelling that I think something I've been, like, a journey I've been going through in the last month or so, and just realizing I need to become better at storytelling, because stories engage people and people remember stories. So
100 high five, 100%.
Yeah, we all need to be better at stories. And sometimes, I look at our training and all that, and I know it's really geared for us in a Western mindset. It's very linear. And I think as we talk with clients, if we can bring stories into what we're doing and examples, the more stories and examples we bring in, the more we help. If we can understand our clients and what their fears are, we tell stories around that about what happened to me or what happened to someone, and it really allays their fears, and it helps them reach this epiphany or this, like, aha moment, like, oh, I can bring my business to $1 million. But it's not, it's something I think we have to practice and we have to get good at. And I'm not a naturally good storyteller. I have dad jokes that people groan at. And they're second only to Carl's jokes that he passes on from his daughter. They're only funny because of who's telling them. Context. I just keep trying all the time and they just don't work. I just got to stop. My kids remind me all the time, just stop. Yeah, just like.
Well, the other thing is that when I usually talk to a lot of folks, I'll tell them, I think it's really important for the most part that because of the world that we live in today and what marketers have already done to the universe, kind of a thing, that most people think that they're talking to a liar, cheat, and a thief, like right out of the gate, right? So we're kind of like you're kind of like the defendant sitting over next to the defense attorney, where yes, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but unfortunately you're not, because the fact that you're in the courtroom, they think that you had to have done something, right? And so I think that, within the rare occasion where you have just so much expertise, authority, and trust, which is what I really like about the program, what it helps to do, I still think people have a little bit of that, liar, cheat, and thief, right? As they look at you until you nurture them through that, whether it takes, 30 seconds, a minute, or whatever it does. But I still believe you have a little bit of that out there.
And you have to.
I agree, man. Yep. There you go. I like it. Good points, guys. And I want you guys to take away what Pat was talking about, the storytelling, everything that Dan was saying and then I was saying. It all comes together through story. And very important part of the story is you got to start where they are, not start from where you are. Yeah, it's, again, hence the bridge, I guess, right? You're on one side, got to get to the other. And you'll get better, right? So how do you get good at it? You just practice. So you'll get there. But anyways, good job, guys. Dan, appreciate the feedback, man. Excellent.
Yep, thanks, fellas.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Put you back on mute. And again, we need some questions here, guys.
So important, Carl, that we have to understand the perspective of our clients and empathize with them and come alongside of them and say, I know where you are. I understand where you are. I've been there in the past. I know how to help you get to where you want to go. This is my territory. I've, walked these paths a lot. I know the way really well. I'm going to help you get there. I'm going to lead you by the hand. We're going to make the steps easy, right? I'm going to show you the steps to take. They're going to be easy steps, and let's walk this together. Just a process you've got to take people through. Understanding their perspective is so important. Perspective's everything.
I love it. Actually, I'll give an example of that, guys. If you want me to expand on what Pat just said, is that whenever, like, if you have a coach and they have a PhD, okay, so Dr. Dave Smith, okay, so selling is about most important thing in a sale. Like, I've got a 4-step process I used to teach for selling, and the step number 1 was build rapport. And I would always say that if you want to increase your closing, you got to increase, rather than try to come up with a more clever way of asking for the order, as in like step number 4, you got to go back to step 1 and get significantly better at building rapport. One example of a coach that I just described a minute ago at the PhD, he's got doctor before his name. On a subconscious level, if somebody's kind of just, cruised through high school or got a couple of years of college, but never, doesn't have the MBA and whatnot, what happens is there's a break in rapport, because subconsciously what they say is, yeah, well, it works for you because you got a freaking PhD and you're smarter, your left toe is smarter than I'm ever going to be, right? So then all of a sudden they don't believe in the process. So the way that Pat just did that, where he said, look, I have been where you have been before. This is the bridge that I followed, and I got to the other side. If you follow me and you follow the same 4 steps, you too will be able to get there. So that's one that we see all the time. A lot of coaches, again, they got the PhD and they put doctor before their name. This hurts. They assume, and they work very hard for their PhD. So, hey, if they want to call themselves doctor, that's what they work so hard to get. But I can tell you that it loses them significantly more sales than it gets. And I think from the outside looking in, you would assume it'd be the opposite, because you go, oh my gosh, this guy's so smart. He's got a PhD. Surely he's going to be able to show me the way. And the opposite happens. So, yeah, you've got to start with where they are at. Critical. Okay, now we got another action. I think Christine has got another question, so we're going to open her back up. Yo, Christine, you got another question?
Yeah, no, not a question, but I just wanted to comment on that, the whole thing about storytelling. And
yep.
It really has to do, for me anyways, it has to do with, like you saying, being able to align yourself with where they're at through a story from your experience. Like for me, people may think that I can do it because I've got a master's degree, like you were talking about the PhD. But yep. I started off as a dropout from high school.
Yep.
And so that's where I start my story.
Yep.
I don't start it
perfect.
with I got a master's degree. I started with, I know what it's like to be in your situation where you have no money. So you have to align your story with your experience with where they're at and what resonates with them.
Yep.
Which I think is what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. No, that's perfectly. And just so everybody heard, again, what you're talking about is you got the master's, but what happened is, you battled through high school. It was a miracle, that I managed to get through it. So I was there, but then I followed the process, and then I got to here. Right?
Yeah. And for me, it was like following a dream, right? I really wanted to go to university. So I had a lot of battles in there, which would be different stories at different times in the relationship of building rapport that you're talking about. But it's the same thing for people who want to have their own business, right? They've all gone through different struggles that may that parallel what I went through to get a master's, but also that's what I went through to become a business owner and an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
So there are parallels, and I think just need to bring those in an appropriate way, right? Don't start out it's like not starting out at the end, you start out at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
That's all
that
I
is
want to
it.
say.
Perfect.
It's good.
Well worded. High five.
A couple things about stories. First of all, if you don't have a story that actually fits for you, you can tell someone else's story about a friend or a colleague or a story you've heard. As long as you tell a story, and as marketers, we make up stories all the time. Not that we're trying to be deceptive, but we're trying to get a point across. We're trying to serve people well and trying to get them to understand something that'll be more useful to them. So I know when I've done trainings and events, I just make up all kinds of stories, and also trying to insert humor and all kinds of stuff in them, right? Because you have to help people cross that bridge, that epiphany bridge, or whatever you want to call it, that psychological emotional bridge, so they can do what is in their best interest to do. And that's the key there, is it's something that benefits them, not takes advantage of them. So the second thing you can do with stories is you can future pace them in a sense of like, look what would happen if we only grew 3% in each area. Imagine what we could do with that extra 465,000 of revenue or something. And you start telling those kind of stories, and you give them a picture of what their future looks like. I mean, that's extremely powerful as well.
Yeah, I mean, the software itself pretty much tells a story, right, Pat? That's exactly these 3% improvements, and you end up where? Well, here, and let us show you some graphs and whatnot. There they are. I like it, buddy. I like it. Okay, we got a few more.
One more important note, Carl. This is very important. You have to listen carefully. It's about perspective. If you're a worm, digging in the ground is a lot more relaxing than going fishing.
I like it, Pat. I think they're good jokes, dude.
One of my dad jokes. Okay.
I like it. I love it. All right, cool. All right, tell you what. John Payne has got a question here. John, we're coming for you, but you're self-muted. You got to unmute yourself. Unless you're going to be shy. There he is. John, you're live, man.
Yeah, buddy. How you guys doing?
Fabulous. Fabulous.
All right, cool. Before I ask my question, I do want to add on, if you don't have a story, you can always lead with stats. You can say this amount of percentage of Americans are dealing with this per year and all that kind of stuff. I just want to throw that out there for you guys. But
yeah, good idea.
Yeah, my question is really, do most people Zoom on this? Do you screen share? I mean, how do most people present this, virtually? Yeah.
Yeah, the answer is screen share is the answer, or face again. And now the social distance, whatever's going on right now, this pandemic. But soon you'll be, of course, able to get into offices. So if we're doing it in your office, again, if you're going to do it face to face, you always want to have 4 walls around you. I always emphasize that, critical. But I get into your office and we do our magic. I would have my laptop and then we'd kind of push it towards you, and there's different parts that I want you to be able to see. Like for instance, once we crossed the $100,000 barrier, or if we quickly crossed the $40,000 barrier, I kind of turn it around and show you, like, check this out. We've only done 2 areas. We already hit 40 grand. This is going to be a walk in the park. So you're doing it by a screen share, or if you're face to face, you've got your laptop and just picture turning it back and forth. Make sense?
Yeah, gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, let me add to that. So I'm on the summary screen here. And what you can do is, as you're talking to people, we do not recommend that you're showing your screen and walking through all the questions. People read ahead, they get distracted, whatever. So what you do is you keep it on your summary screen, and then on your Zoom meeting, we're on GoToMeeting here, we can pause that screen. And as I'll just pause it here, and you guys are seeing this, but I'm over now market dominating position. I'm asking questions and walking through that, taking notes. And you're going to see now when I come back here, I'm assuming you can't see my screen there. Is that right?
No.
So now we're going to come back here. Yeah. And I mean, look at those results I got you there, Carl. I just found you another $5.2 million in your business. So you come back to the summary. I went from 5% to 504% somehow. But obviously you wouldn't use that, but that's the idea of the screen share. So you pause it. Oh, you didn't see that because I was still pausing. So back here, and I've found you this extra 5.2 million in your business, 504%. But you pause the screen until you come back here, and then you show it. And just as I demonstrated, it does take a little bit of practice, because I even screwed up myself because I'm not used to doing that, and something I'm learning to do as well. But you don't want to be walking through all these screens with people. If you're presenting in person, you have your laptop or whatever tablet pointed towards yourself. And when you get to the results, you go, oh, look at this, and you turn the screen towards them, or you start sharing the screen again when you're on the summary screen. And then it's like, hey, let's look at leads, pause the screen share, go and find some leads or alliances and joint ventures, come back to this screen and share it again, share your results. The other place you want to share is if you're in something here and you go to results, you go, oh, look at that, and you show this screen there. And these are really impressive. Like, oh, if we only did this area, we'd see an increase in profit of $31,500. Like, that's incredible, really. So you want people to see visuals all the time as much as you can.
Does that make sense? Does that help? Actually, I think we might have muted back John Payne.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, John, you there? Does that help?
Yeah, it's great. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Okay, buddy, gonna put you back on mute. There you go. We get another question here from Mark. Let's open them up. Mark, you're self-muted, buddy. If you get on, there he is. Mark, you're live, bud.
Hey, what a great call, man. I get software updates that are over the top. We have an Epiphany Bridge conversation that's wonderful, and then comedy hour. This is so good. and you know I'm going to be stealing that worm joke tonight, with the family. So thank you.
You should. It's a beauty, man. I'm going to steal that one too. Way to go, Pat.
Newsletter.
There's more. So question on the ROI, I'm assuming, but I don't want to assume, that's going to show up with percentages in the reports?
Oh, I believe it will. Let's just double check on this. So we've got 1997. I don't know if this shows up in the report. I mean, brand new, so let's go and have a look. Let's see here. If not, just take a snippet, right, and post it in there.
Yep, understood.
So, cost of
good question.
Hold on. I don't think it's going to be there. Cost of coaching.
Well, that's such a powerful piece that obviously we want it in there. So if it's not, then we'll plug it in. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just take a snippet of it and insert it as an image.
Okay.
Yeah, we should totally do that, Pat. That's a great question. Good job. There we go.
It's actually a little bit understated here in the ROI. Like, I think for here, it's kind of a little understated, which is fine. And maybe for the design, it's okay. But really, in a sense, this is massive, this number here. And I think it's just such an important selling tool. I wonder if we can maybe have that conversation later, Carl, with what we do with that.
I like possibly it belongs at the top and possibly in a different, maybe in yellow, the same color as where profit, I don't know, we can chat about that, but yeah, no doubt.
Maybe right here where that title is, so yeah.
Yeah, that coaching ROI and then the percentage. So there. Anyways, yeah, we'll chat about that, but great question, Mark. Anything else for us, bud?
Just on the Epiphany Bridge, a big breakthrough for me one time was it's kind of like stories where you're giving them examples, and this process with our profit acceleration software is kind of like a business MRI or a business blood test. The doctor looks at a whole bunch of numbers, sees what's working, sees what isn't working, and waits for kind of like. So that was a big breakthrough for me back in the day. Yep.
That's a good metaphor. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, well done. Cool. Awesome, Mark. Appreciate your feedback, man. We're going to put you back on mute. Good luck telling Pat's joke to the family. Hope you get a couple laughs, man. Well done.
Well, it's actually like Dan brought up earlier about Russell Brunson's Epiphany Bridge, and it just brings up an important thing, for everyone to realize, like Carl and Adrian and I just don't sit here and look at our own content. We are always out there examining other people's content, looking to what we can ethically liberate and bring into Leader Publishing Worldwide for the benefit of our coaches. And so, yeah, we're able to talk about Epiphany Bridge because we go and study Russell Brunson, we study Frank Kern, we attend their trainings. I've got everything from Jay Abraham, a terabyte of hard drive from Jay Abraham I've done all of Chet Holmes's trainings in the past. You know, we are constantly learning and growing, and we learn from you guys. And so if there's something that we can bring into Leader, LPW, the software, anything that helps you guys make more money, be better coaches, help your clients make more money, you know, we want to be able to do that and just be able to adapt it, adopt it, whatever. So it's a continual process. And the problem with business growth and the knowledge of it, it's doubling every 6 to 9 months at most, right? Moore's law. So we have to be on top of things, and we can't keep up, but we're still trying to keep up.
That is it. We are, man. It can be crazy. Actually, brother, speaking of which, we got another question here from Dan.
Good.
Dan, I'm coming for you here, buddy. You're live again, Dan?
I really was just asking if we could, on the summary thing that you were showing where you took a snapshot, do we have the ability to just open up the summary in a new tab and then just always have that tab being shared with the prospect until we want to show them something different versus just doing the snapshot? That's all.
Summary in a new tab.
Right, like for example, typically I would go where we got the summary, I'd do a right click, open new tab.
Yeah.
I would share that tab. That would be the tab that I share. Yeah, it's right there. And that's the tab that I share. So they see that one. They would never see what I'm doing. So they only see the results that show up on that tab.
You know, let's look at that really quick. That's a really interesting
that's
question.
great
I never thought of that.
question. Yes.
So I feel like I'm part of a mastermind, Carl. Like, it's like, oh my goodness, brains are just
good.
So it hasn't come out automatically. You see, refresh that tab. There we go. It has. So yeah, if you're just sharing that tab, that's really smart. Thank you. This is the screen that you're showing. So you're going to leave that on the screen you're showing. You keep your questions on a different screen. Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, the other thing that I do is like if I'm with them, I have a little USB second monitor. That's I think it's like a 17-inch USB.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. I only share that with them, so it's always sitting right there. So if looks like we can do the same thing while we're remote as well, that will be really awesome. Primarily because of my problem, which is I don't pay attention half the time, and I would end up showing them stuff that would only cause confusion.
I see.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a fabulous idea, actually. So there you go. Yeah, cool.
That is cool. So yeah, as long as you keep your screens, like if I'm showing this tab and my thing is like, I'm going to go back into here and start changing questions, and then they see my screen and I don't want them to. And I mean, in the end, it's not a huge deal if they do see your screen. But the more you can control the environment, the better you'll be, I think. So,
yeah. But hang on, Pat, can I just explain what I think so go to your other screen, right?
Yep.
The one that so sorry, no, the one, okay, so then the other link is where we had the summary, where the numbers were going to expand.
Summary. Which one?
Yes. Okay. So this one. Okay. So this is the one that would be paused. Okay. So I would go to my screen right now, and then I would pause it, and then I would go back to my other tab that had the software open where I was asking the questions. So they'd always be here. And then as I wanted, so then I would come back to this screen. I would unpause, refresh, and then the numbers would swell. I would repause it, go back to my questions, and continue to ask, and then. You know, let's say if you were to use some baseline numbers, once we hit 25 grand, I'd show them. Once I hit 50 grand, I'd show them. 75 grand, I'd show them. And once we went over top of 100 grand, I'd come back and say, look at this. We're over $100,000. We've only covered 4 areas, 5 areas. Imagine what we're going to manage to do together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I like the idea of them looking at, basically this exact screen and then just unpause, refresh it, so they can see the numbers swell as we're moving along.
So, well, that if you're on 2 screens, you don't really need to do that. So Because what I could do, and let me just take this one then, I'm going to drag this down onto my other screen here.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
so that one you're looking at, if I go into my screen, I'm going to start asking you questions about leads and tell me about your lead generation process, Carl. And, you know, I see, oh, it's going to be, man, if you do that, I'm going to double or whatever. And I'll just say, well, it's, you know, really conservatively, what would you do? And they go, easily 20, 30%. I go, well, let's take the lower number. So I've just, on that screen, I've done that. And look at leads here now, right there at 6%. All I need to do on this screen is I don't need to pause, unpause. I just need to refresh.
Just refresh it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Gotcha. You got two screens.
you're going to come out with 20% there. So I'm controlling it off screen and doing all that and just let them see the screen.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, if you've got a second screen, absolutely home run, for sure.
And
Cool.
by the way,
Well, there we
guys,
go.
you know, I work off of a second screen. It's a 30-inch TV. And if you're looking to get a monitor or a TV, TVs are like half the price of monitors. So I got like a 30-inch TV for like $150 or $200 or something way back when. And so I can put so many documents up there and put them side by side and still be more productive. So that's what I have going, but that's just me.
I love it. Good stuff. Good, Dan. Excellent feedback, man. I love it. Okay, Dan's going back on mute, and I think Christine has got a question. You are muted. You'll have to unmute yourself. It's Christine, you're muted. Okay, Okay, Christine, if you got another question, you just got to unmute yourself. I've unmuted you at our end. Anybody else got a question for us here, folks? Just scrolling through. You see anything I missed there, Pat? Let's open up our boy Wally here while we're waiting. Wally's always got something cool to say. Wally Carmichael, we're coming for you, man. Yo, Wally. There he is. Wally, what's happening?
What's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
Wow.
Fabulous, bud. Fabulous.
I'm just down here trying to learn from everybody else and see what's new and exciting.
Awesome. How are we doing? Wally, you learning something today?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And all the different ways to share the screen. I use Zoom and I just share the screen. It works out pretty good. Yeah, doing good, man.
Good.
Yeah, I think the two screen idea that Dan just came up with, or yeah, that's a beauty. That's a beauty. That's what I'd be doing, and then refreshing the screen as I'm moving along. So there we go. Anyways, Wally, always good to hear your voice, dude. You doing good over there?
Same here. Yeah, absolutely. Matter of fact, I just got somebody started out there in Canada with you guys.
Oh, Canada. That's a very American thing to say, just so you know, man. We don't call ourselves, it's not Canada, but that's what happens. That's what happens when you're not familiar, man. There we go. Cool. Good job, man. Canadian client. They must be handsome like Pat and I, for sure.
Actually, he's originally born and raised in Chile, and he lived
now he's
a Canadian Chilean.
No, there we go. Damn.
Good guy.
Cool. I used to live with a guy from Chile.
And a hockey coach at that, Carl.
Did he?
Yeah, he's a hockey coach. He's a hockey coach.
Wow.
As he says, it's very rare for a Latino hockey coach. So he's got that.
I like him even more. Yeah, well done. Okay, cool. You learn something new every day. There you go. All right, Wally, cool, man. We're going to put you back on mute. Juan's got a question, and if nobody else has one, we're going to be jetting out for today. But hang on a sec here. Juan. Here he is. Juan, you're live.
Hello, gentlemen. How's everybody today?
Fabulous, man. What's happening?
Not much. I got a question. So I got a lead up. I'm gonna have an introduction for a local 30-year-old newspaper that they're hurting. They're like bleeding out of the sides. So I'm gonna get the introduction, and my attempt was originally just to do a 10K, because that's what I'm promoting locally. But
yep.
Any suggestions? Should I just go for like straight to the PAS? I mean, obviously it's gonna be like a kind of a cold referral. Any suggestions? And I know, Carl, you got that background on the media side, so trying to see if
is this sorry, I just want to make sure at the beginning, what is it? It's a newspaper?
It's a local newspaper. Yes, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And old school, like as in print, like, you know,
Yes,
in the
sir.
mail, pick it up at the local 7-Eleven.
Correct. Yep. It sounds like the parents or the original people that created it about 30 years ago gave it to their son. Son's like in his 20s or 30s or something, and he's just a surfer dude. It's called, it's just a local newspaper down here. So he runs it, and it looks like it's doing not really well. So someone's going to give me the lead for them. But trying to see if
Sorry, it's going not very well or going very well?
not very well. Yeah, they're basically they're basically going to go bankrupt eventually if they don't have some new strategies, basically.
Yeah, I got you. What's their website look like? Their online presence, any good?
No, not that good.
No, like they take the newspaper and put it online.
No, they actually have not done that. It's basically print. I mean, like their major distribution is just local businesses, and obviously,
yeah,
that's probably not working right now.
Yeah, no joke, no joke. A little bit of the Stone Ages, but at the same time, that when I say Stone Ages, I don't. It's not to say that it can't work. It absolutely can. So just walk me again. The dynamic, you were given a referral to these guys and then they've reached back out and said, hey, let's chat. Like, have you spoken to these guys? This is just a cold referral.
It's a cold referral. I'm going to have an email introduction hopefully this week, but it's pretty much a cold. They don't know me from
yeah.
From anybody else.
Okay, well, I want to hear what Pat has to say, but what I'd be doing is I literally wrote this on Facebook today. Everything leads to a 15-minute conversation, just, to establish some groundwork. And just, on that call, what are you doing? You're asking some questions. Remember, we're not looking, it's not ideas, it's problems. My spidey senses are totally going towards problems, right? And I can already tell you that, his cost of distribution is high. His ad sales are down. These are going to be some of the problems that he has. So these are the solutions that you want to be able to come up with. Most definitely in his own head, he's thinking, damn, I got to find a way to be able to complement my hard copy newspaper online. So this is something you got to be able to guide him with, and he'd be crazy not to be doing that. But I would basically, what I'd be doing is I'd be going to a 15-minute phone call, just establishing some, a little bit of a comfort level. And then what I'm trying to work out is I don't want to sell to him. I want to sell through him. So a big opportunity for him is that, like, his guys are coming to him and he's selling advertising, right? Like, that's the way he'd be making money. Well, basically they don't need ads. What they need is, the old school, the old conversation. They really need upsells, downsells, cross sells, that kind of thing. So the big opportunity for him is to be selling higher units of sale instead of just selling advertising. Basically selling what they actually need, and that's the ability to grow, right? Kind of like, think like an ad that he's selling is probably like, say, $1,000, and then inexpensive consulting is $1,000 a month, like 12 grand, right? So imagine, you always say that business is just math. When you're selling a $1,000 unit, when you could be selling a $12,000 or a $24,000 unit, you don't need a calculator to work out which way is going to be significantly more profitable and significantly more successful, right? Well, this is where his challenge lies. And then how do you fit into that equation? You become the $12,000 to $24,000 solution, and he gets a percentage, you get a percentage, but he hands everybody over to you, right? But so, okay, I was going to go over what I just said. I'd be getting a 15-minute phone call to establish kind of where he's at, his buying temperature, what he's thinking, to kind of get a bit of a feel for it. And then from there, I would absolutely be setting up a solid, 90-minute conversation where I'd be doing one of two things, either running him through to find him the 100 grand for his own newspaper. And if I'm doing that, I've got one eye on the fact that I could do this with every one of your advertising clients and pay you handsomely to do so. And then potentially in that second call, I'm going straight to, remember, Juan, you were the one that asked, remember how I'd present? I'm getting some feedback here, guys. Is that, Juan, can you put me on mute there for just 1 sec, Juan, before I'm done? There we go. So what I would do is I would, be presenting it. Remember you asked me the other week there, how I would present the software to a prospective joint venture partner. I think you were sitting down with a financial guy. I would basically be presenting it in that way to say, look, here's the process. This is the software. Here's how we find anybody $100,000 in 45 minutes without them spending $1 on marketing or advertising, showing off the software and saying, look, do you want to partner with this and do you want to go to your clients? Right. So how would I determine that? My 15-minute call with him would kind of just get a bit of a sense as to where he's at. Does that make sense? That help, Juan?
Yes, sir, it does. Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Yep. And Pat, before I'd like to throw it to you, I'd like to hear what you'd say.
Well, I think if you're just doing that first initial meeting on the phone, you're talking to this young guy, basically surfer dude. I don't know what his attention span is, if it's more than the goldfish or less than the goldfish, but you've got a few seconds. And what you can do is ask him some brilliant questions, which makes him kind of sit up in his chair or sit up on his surfboard or wherever he is and go, oh my gosh, I need to have that next meeting. And so think through some questions that you could ask, make a list of them. And it could be something like, from out of market dominating position, that I don't know if there's one here that I always like to ask. Oh, I'm not sure it's in here, but it's what do you offer your prospects, your clients, that make them feel like they'd be an idiot not to do business with you? Something like that, because they go, oh my goodness, I've never thought of that. Another great question is in the success questionnaire, and it's, Joe, do you have the capacity to handle a sudden influx of new customers? Because that's my space, that's where I work. He's like, oh my gosh, that's his dream. Of course he wants that. And if you're asking the question, he's going to assume you can help him get it, or else you wouldn't be asking the question. So come up with a list of a bunch of those, 5, 10 questions, and things that he's going to realize that he needs your help in, and then just transition to, like, we need to meet. You obviously need some help. We need to meet. What's your schedule look like?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, Pat, if I could just add to that one, I also want you to be thinking like what Christine and we were talking about earlier, and it's like you got to meet him where he's at. So he's just taken over. Where'd the surfer guy? He's a surfer, is that right? Is that what I heard, Pat?
Yeah.
Okay, missed that bit. So, but again, that will tell you a little bit about his personality. So make sure you're just keeping that in mind. But I just say to him, look, when I got started as a business coach, I remember I just kind of got going. I needed to get in front of business owners, and it was like one of the hardest things I could ever do. It was a constant battle with how can I make this stupid phone ring? How can I fill my inbox with inquiries? And today it's, I've got speaking events, joint ventures. I got people like Dave who introduced me to you, sending me, referrals and whatnot on a ridiculously consistent basis. So do feel comfortable. I can help you get, if you're feeling battles right now to get in front of business owners, I've absolutely been there, and I can help you get to the other side of, the bridge is what we talked about earlier, right? The Epiphany bridge. So meeting him where he's at, and then taking him to where he wants to go needs to be part of that 15-minute conversation. Make sense?
Yes, you're perfect. And it's funny, your spidey sense must be strong. The guy's name is Dave, the guy that's going to introduce me.
Look, let me just tell you, I got this little thing called a crystal ball here, Juan. I didn't want to tell anybody, but I'm looking into it. This guy's going to buy, he's going to sell a surfboard. He's going to sell all his beachfront property. He's no longer going to surf. He's going to go into newspaper. He's going to become the next Rupert Murdoch and take over news.com. And boom. All in the back of your business coaching. So make sure you get a 10% contingency deal signed up, and boom.
I will. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, good luck, man. You're moving and shaking, bud. You're impressive. You're getting in front of some great people. So take it. And Juan, if I could I'll finish with this. But remember, again, it's just, yes, we want to make obviously you want to make a sale here, and you want to make sure that you get, you help him help his clients and get a bunch of coaching clients as a result. But just keep that bigger picture that this is a young guy taking over a business from his parents. It's a little bit nerve-wracking. He probably doesn't want to let other people down. He's feeling some pressure that, is maybe, possibly beyond him. He just wants to be out there damn well surfing right now. He's got to, cold call business owners and ask if they want to buy advertising, which you can imagine how exciting that is for him. So just keep that bigger picture that, man, I'm going to have, I'm going to be able to guide you through this thing and help you along. And look, I know exactly where you're at and where you want to get to, and I'm going to help you get there. And, and really sincerely do it. You know what I mean? It's this one guy, man, I can tell you, the newspaper's been around a while. This one guy could be the catalyst to send you, 30, 50 clients. Actually, and before I finish one, also very important, remember what he's trying to do is sell advertising, but then also get his existing clients to continue to buy advertising. So if you ever heard me talk about joint ventures, remember, if I want to do a joint venture with an accountant, instead of going to him and saying, hey, I'm going to give you 20% of all the fees that, you send me clients, they pay me $2,000 a month, I'm going to pay you 20%, right? And that's, $400 a month for as long as they pay me. That's not what I go to the accountant with. I go to the accountant and say, send me 3 clients, take me for a test drive, right? Don't send me everybody you ever met. Take me for a test drive, send me 3 clients, and I will personally make sure that those 3 clients come to see you at least 4 times throughout the year, quarterly. And in many cases, it's going to be 10 to 12 times a year because it's important that my clients have a scoreboard. Well, what just happened is the accountant goes, oh my gosh, yes, please, because these stupid clients come to see me once a year and it's 3 months after the year is over and makes me so damn busy. And they only pay me about $2,000 to do that. And the guys that come to see me 4, 10, 12 times a year, paying me, 2 to 10 times that amount, those are the types of clients I want. So I tell the accountant that I'm going to take his, pain in the butt clients and I'm going to turn them into dream clients. And then he gives me 3 clients and I follow through and do exactly that. Right. So that's how I get the accountant. Well, this guy wants to sell ads and then he wants his clients to continue to buy the ads and he wants them to buy bigger ads because then he wouldn't have to, sell so damn hard to sell the others. So I would say to him, as a part of our relationship, I will make sure that anybody advertising with you continues to advertise with you. But not only will they continue to advertise with you, I will endeavor to double whatever they're spending with you now. Let's call it $10,000 a year. I will endeavor to double that amount because you'll never get a bigger fan of advertising than I. Right? I promise you, the other business coach is not saying that to him. And he's going to be like, oh, wow, that's what I was hoping for. Right? You follow that one? Does that kind of help and make sense?
Yeah, absolutely, because he benefits his long-term goal, which is increase the ad spend for
well, that's his problem. Yeah, exactly. People cancel these damn ads, right? And he's like, how do I keep these guys to continue paying? Well, you become a solution to that problem. So there you go, Juan. Keep us updated, man. But that's awesome. High five, bud. Well done.
Oh, sir. Thank you, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Okay, so I think that's all we got here, Pat.
We should remind people that being from Canada, that I am going to the, wait for it, USA.
Americana? You going to Americana?
Americana, eh? For the next 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, next week. So we are going to pause this call for 2 weeks. So everybody, Yep. Starting on, we're doing Thursday, and then the following Tuesday, we're taking 2 weeks off, and then we recommence. So help me with that date here, Pat. Would you? What are we?
Yeah, I'll look at my.
So we're taking off the 10th. So guys, we're taking off the 10th and the 17th, the week of those, and then we fire up again on the 25th. Week of the 24th, which would be the 25th. Yeah. So 11th. Yeah, the week of the 10th and the 17th, we don't have profit acceleration calls, and on the week of the 24th. Specifically Tuesday, the 25th, we fire back up again, just as an FYI for everyone.
We'll put out an email, just a reminder on that. So, but anyway, if you have comments, questions, you can still email pas@noresults-nofee.com. The other thing you can do, let me go there, is if you have a problem with support, I'm just going to run there. I'll unfreeze my screen. And in here, you will find support here. So William's going to be monitoring support, and just put your thing in here as well, or just email PAS. William's going to be first line of defense on, or offense, whatever we call it, on the support emails. We'll help you out. And if there's an emergency, of course, I'll respond best I can.
I love it. Good job. On behalf of everybody, although you're not going yet, we'll send you off on Thursday, but you're going to have a hoot. Actually, speaking of having a hoot, check this out. So Nina Hirschberger is one of our legendary clients, been around, I don't know how long, for many, many years. She's in the Dan Kennedy Marketing Hall of Fame. When we do our business coaching mastery event in Cancun, she's always up on stage, and a very impressive operator, like not only in the Dan Kennedy family, she's in the Hall of Fame, so I guess that speaks volumes, but she's a bit of a celebrated member. She just posted, love the profit acceleration software. In the last 7 days, I've worked with business owners to find at least $100,000 additional profit in their businesses without spending a dime. And it took me less than 30 minutes. And I didn't begin to touch the possibilities. A lawyer, $172,000, a bar restaurant, $198,000, and then a chiropractor, $134,000. It's shaping up to be a banner month. Boom.
Wow.
So there we go. And that's Nina, who, there you go, pretty impressive operator. So we've got her cranking too. So why am I finishing with that, guys? Just go and get in front of business owners, folks. Pandemic, no pandemic, locked in their houses, out at the park. Go help folks with this process. And I tell you, the coaching clients sign up. That is that, folks. So there we go. So Pat, any parting words here for our folks, man, before we shut off? All good?
Yep. Go get her.
Beautiful. Okay, cool. And I really appreciate you guys coming along, and especially appreciate not only your feedback and your questions, but your expertise with some of, as you guys just saw it live there with Dan's feedback. That was very impressive. So we really appreciate that, guys. So we love it. We appreciate it. And we will see you guys on Thursday, hopefully. And if not, we'll see you in a couple weeks' time. So thanks again, guys. Thanks, Pat. And we'll speak to you later.
Yep. All right. Bye-bye.